Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Rambling Through Everyday Life with Fran and Angela. My name is Fran, and I am one of the co-hosts for this podcast. Y'all, this is just a typical rambling episode. We talk about the serious, the not so serious, and everything in between. As always, we appreciate you listening. Sit back, enjoy the show. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode. We're still finding our way into this 5th season. This is the 3rd episode of a brand new season. Angela, happy Saturday. We're recording on a Saturday.
Yes, and this comes out on Labor Day, so happy Labor Day.
Happy long weekend, everybody.
I hope nobody's laboring, unless it's a baby.
Or you're laboring on a boat somewhere.
Ooh.
Or on a beach somewhere.
Wouldn't that be great?
On your back patio somewhere.
Do y'all want to know, granted, we're recording this ahead of actual Labor Day. Everybody feels sorry for me. I'm going to tell you how I'm spending my Labor Day weekend.
What are you doing?
This is not sarcastic. Like, seriously, send all the support and encouragement.
Condolences are about to be given?
Mm-hmm. Yes. My plan for Labor Day weekend is to finally stop the procrastination on my income taxes. Every year I get an extension and then continue to wait until the last minute for the extension for no reason other than I procrastinate and hate dealing with any of it.
Well, who wants to do that anyway?
Absolutely nobody. But all I do is delay something horrible, just rip off the Band-Aid, get it done. So finally I said, you know what? Labor Day weekend, I'm going to be sitting on my couch watching something stupid on TV and muddling through tax records for all these businesses. So
I'm just impressed that you can do that, because I would be like, no, I can't do that.
Well, every year as I'm doing it, I have those exact thoughts. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this?
Why am I literally doing this?
Anyway,
I think we did our own taxes like the first year we got married, because it was, well, how much money did you make? Oh, you made $400. Well, you made $800. Okay, well, that's simple.
Remember the 1040 easy form?
Yeah. And now, that's been a long time, so no.
Well, and I'm not actually preparing the return. I'm just preparing the things to give to the smart accountant man. But still, it's also horrible.
Any of it sounds terrible. But yay, okay.
But yay for making money to pay taxes on, right? Let's just flip this right around.
Right. We had, back when school was starting, we had some student leaders that were talked to about not grumbling and complaining.
As I grumble and complain.
So this is this was the running joke for about a week. Like, oh, I love being tired. I'm my absolute best when I'm tired. Oh, I love taxes. I absolutely just am so thankful. I love doing taxes. So that made me think
that is our challenge this new week of September. I love taxes. It's the greatest.
I love being grumpy and hungry. I love it so much.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, happy Labor Day,
everybody. Happy Labor Day. Do you know what I thought about this morning? What? I thought, because I run into several of our incredible listeners who are so much fun.
I don't run into a single one.
Yes, you do. You met some at orientation or welcome week y'all are out there. Yeah. When you see Fran, be sure to remind her that you're listening. But I've had lots of questions about the Swan.
Oh, yeah. Listen, yes. Whatever his name is, Brownie, who's actually gray.
He is a very gray swan.
Yeah.
That our 5-year-old Atlas named Brownie, kind of like years ago when little bitty Cole named a very white swan Sapphire.
Yeah, right.
Who has never been blue a day in her life.
Makes perfect sense.
However, one time he was eating a sandwich. We had a cat named Sandwich.
Yeah.
We have a rooster named Popsicle. Explain why any of this makes sense. I don't know. Oh. I've never been a 5-year-old boy.
No, but it all kind of does make sense.
Yes, but, baby Brownie is the child. We still don't know if it's male or female. The child of Reba, who is now a dude, Rebo. Yeah. And so anyway, Reba and Reba's wife bullied the parents, Mick and Sapphire. So now they live on the neighbor's pond. They're living their best life over there. Baby Brownie, for a while, was in a pen in our yard because his parents would try to attack him or drown him. We pulled him off the nest.
We need dramatic music being played don't we? Now.
There were other eggs that needed to hatch, and Carl was afraid that when baby Brownie hatched, he might accidentally fall into the water. if the mother didn't help him, like when they're little, they have to help them get in and out of the water. If she was distracted by other eggs hatching, she might not do that. So he thought the best chance of life for Brownie was to pull him, bring him into our home for 24 hours and see what happened. Well, those 24 hours proved to be critical to their relationship because mom and dad now say, you're a stranger to me. We don't like you.
Yeah.
So long story short, we have come a long way. I don't know how many weeks or months this has been, but now Brownie and his mother and father can coexist.
Yeah. This
peacefully.
is huge.
It's huge. It's very happy to me.
How do you tell if swans like one another outside of like if they don't, they would harm them? But do they like, what do they do?
Well, they tried to drown him.
Okay. So we know that's a clear
That's
factor.
a clear indicator. For a moment in time when Mick lost his first wife, Eden, remember she got eaten during that horrible ice storm.
I'm glad you tuned into this show,
right?
everyone.
I mean, what are we? This is like fairy tales from.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked a
Evil
single
land.
question.
So all that to say, like they can be violent toward each other. They don't want him to eat first. There's literally a pecking order. You hear about birds and pecking orders. Like that when food is put out, they kind of snapped at him this morning to let him know we're eating. You back it up.
Not your turn.
Not your turn. But other than that, they're all in the pond swimming around.
Do they play?
Not really.
Yeah.
They glide through the water.
Uh-huh.
Does that count?
Yeah, that's their way of like feeling good about themselves and saying, look at me.
But it is so interesting because I've never been around a swan.
Yeah, no. That's why I'm asking all these questions because I clearly have not.
Yeah. So
yay for Brownie.
Yay for Brownie. We'll put a picture of him in stories. It's
with his parents.
With his mom and dad.
I'm really proud of him. He's a tough cookie.
He is. Go Brownie.
Yeah.
So I mentioned on the last podcast that I had a fun/horrible surprise for my husband.
Oh, yeah.
I convinced him he was going to Disney World. He was very happy to learn at the airport that he was not, in fact, going to Disney World. He could not figure out why we would fly from Memphis, Tennessee to Chicago to go to Orlando. Yeah. The people at the ticket counter were so fun and played along. We walked up. It was earlier in the morning. And I said, it's our anniversary. And my husband's really trying to figure out if he's excited or not because I'm surprising him with this great trip to Disney World. And the girl kind of looked at me and looked at the computer. And then she kind of called, like I could just tell subtly. And she slid the boarding passes to me off to the side and said, sir, have fun at Disney World.
Oh, that's so great.
So until we got to the connecting flight airport, he didn't know. I had him convinced that somehow the flights were on sale if you connected through Chicago to go to Orlando, which made no sense.
Yeah, listen, but it happens.
Carl is always just along for the ride. So I have the funniest picture of him. We were in the United Lounge and the napkin said, where am I going? He's holding up this napkin with the most sour look on his face. And then I've got the happy picture of Carl pointing to the Jackson Hole. We walked past the gate and I said, well, maybe we should just go here instead in his whole demeanor. Yeah. And then, y'all, he tried to say, well, I mean, I was okay with going anywhere. I would have been fine.
Liar.
Like, whatever, Carl.
Big fat liar.
But it was great. If you have not been to Grand Teton National Park, please, please, please put it on your bucket list. Look it up. There's no place like it. It's just really fun. But our actual anniversary day, all I wanted to do was see a moose. Oh, he loves moose.
I thought you were going to say see a movie. I was like, what?
No, not a movie. Not a movie. See a moose. And we've seen moose there, but we've never seen moose with huge antlers. Yeah. And they're just so majestic. Y'all, we saw 3 moose. But
Are they meese?
Yeah, that's what I kept calling them. Mooses.
Is that correct?
I don't know. I think it's just moose.
A group of mooses?
A group of moosies. Okay. I don't know. But we, I love going to national parks because I'm not a dress-up girl. Yeah. If you're listening and you're girly, I'm sorry. I can't relate. Yeah. I love that for you.
Right.
But I love to be in a, ponytail, leggings, tennis shoes, not worried about makeup.
And y'all had on jackets for crying out loud.
We did. But the night of our anniversary, I thought, Angela, you need to get your life together and look nice for your husband and go to a proper dinner. So we did. So this night, I'm in a t-shirt dress, not super fancy, but I have on makeup, I have on a t-shirt dress, and I have on sandals. Well, guess what? Coming home from dinner, you're driving through the park, and when you see cars pulled over, you know they're looking at something important. So this is the one night when I have bare legs, and I'm trekking through this field with all these big scratchy bush things to like my legs got torn up. And it was cool outside. And I'm in a t-shirt dress and sandals, but it did not matter. I had to see what they were seeing. Yeah. So we go running through this field and look over this terrace, and there are 3 of the biggest moose I've ever seen in my life. And one of them, they named them around, they named them for, I can't even talk, neighboring towns. So Hoback, Wyoming, apparently, or maybe it was a street. Anyway, maybe it was a street called Hoback or a town. I don't know. Clearly, I'm not paying attention. But this moose is named Hoback, and he's the biggest moose in Teton Park. Oh, wow. So the photographers had these huge lenses that Carl would look at them and be like, that's a $20,000 camera. That's a $10,000 lens. Yeah. They were going berserk. So when you see them get excited, you know, ooh, hey, I should be excited about this. So that was a lot of fun. And we saw some bears that day.
I don't understand. Go back to the mooses.
It sounds like Mickey Mouse Club. Mishka Mushka.
The mooses.
The mooses.
Like, to have those antlers. That has to be hard to carry around.
Wouldn't that be heavy?
I guarantee you their core is really strong.
Don't you know? I wonder if they get a headache at the end of the day.
Like, I mean, like,
I just want to go lay this down.
I just need to lay my antlers down. My head is fine.
They do shed their antlers and they grow back every year.
Yeah, see, I find that absolutely wild.
That fascinating?
Yeah. Yeah. So I just feel like, you know, you've stood there all day having to balance, carry the weight of those antlers. They're strong creatures. I have to believe they are. Don't tell me if they're not.
No, we did see them play, and that was fun.
With their antlers?
2 of them.
They're not fighting?
No, not yet. They will in September. When rut season hits, they will not like each other at all. But right now, they were playful, and one of them was younger, and he was kind of, not hopping, but kind of like running around, kind of like a dog does.
Frolicking. Remember that word,
remember when Michaela made us frolic?
We had to frolic once for pictures. That was the most awkward thing in all the world.
When she looked at us and said, look at each other and skip. And we were like, I'm sorry, what?
What? I can't do that.
Let me remind you of my age right now.
Yeah, but the mooses can.
The mooses can. So we talked about the luggage that we love so much last time. I found a new bag.
Okay. Out of the same...
different company.
Okay. Because I was about to say, we love to talk about things that we don't know how to pronounce.
No.
And so BEIS.
Base?
Or let's make it fancy. How would you make that fancy? Because it does have a little...
Base?
It does have a little line.
Tilde.
What do you call that thing?
I don't know. No, tilde Spanish. What is it? Apostrophe? I don't know.
Above the I, y'all know.
Can we delete this and start a whole new podcast?
This
has gone off the rails.
I know. But it just like, you know how you say things in your mind and then you have to say it out loud?
Well, say it fancy. What is it?
I can't even think of what that would be. Hang on. Keep talking, Angela. I'm going to do a little Google search and have her say the word for us.
The new bag I found is not hard to pronounce and it's not fancy. It's called Halfday.
Okay. Well, you know what?
There's only one way to say that. But it's a garment bag. So you can lay your clothes out flat on hangers in this garment bag. Have you seen it? Yeah. And then it rolls up into a duffel bag.
I don't know that I have the skill or the confidence that I would do it as lovely as that video looks on Instagram.
Well, I'm going to have to get that video back out because y'all know I have a terrible toxic trait of ordering things that I don't necessarily need in my life. And when I got this out the night before, when I hadn't even packed and didn't know what we were doing, I did not wind up taking this bag on this trip because I got very confused on how to assemble all of it together. But I am hopeful that it will be, I needed a garment bag. So I feel confident that I can figure this out at some point in time.
Okay. And I'm trying really hard to figure out how to say it. And it's, how do you, okay, hang on. Okay, hang on. You keep talking, Angela, while I scoot away from the mic.
I was just going to say, I did wear our travel outfit, the black outfit that we love. It's become like our version of the sisterhood of the traveling pants.
Yep.
That outfit has been on all the trips to all the places, but it was a lot of fun. We rented a side-by-side the second day, and we were
side-by-side,
like a Ranger, like a Polaris. Okay. And we got to just drive all through trails and mountains. And there was a big sign that said, do not let the mountain sheep lick your vehicle.
I'm sorry.
And I thought, did I read that right? I said, turn around and go back. I need to take a photo. And I never saw a sheep, nor did it try to lick my vehicle. But I just thought, you don't see signs like this on the side of the road in Tennessee.
No, that ain't your normal sign, everyone. That's awesome, though.
So then we get way back in this canyon, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And you're just traveling along, and you think, oh, should I keep going? Should I turn around? So it just felt kind of wild and free.
Back up for a second, because I was still trying to figure out how to pronounce BEIS. Is somebody driving you, or are you all driving yourselves?
We were driving ourselves. Oh. So it was very much like what we do on our farm on the Polaris Ranger. I thought that would be such a fun surprise for him. Just rent this thing, and away we go. So we get to the place that's in the city, and then I'm looking around going, we've just got to drive this thing down the road.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, it's street legal. You're fine. Okay. So we are in T-shirts and shorts because it was 80, but then it started out in the 50s. So then it started getting a little overcast and a little rainy, and we wind up pulling this side-by-side into the parking lot of Target and buying souvenir rain jackets.
Oh, that's great.
So we have these jackets, then we're fine. I bought a pair of pants. So it was put on layers, take off layers the whole trip.
Yeah.
But we get all the way back, and it was gorgeous. And then the phone rings, and I couldn't take a call. We barely had service. I look down, and Kaylee is texting saying, I need help. Somebody please call me. I'm like, we are way back in the middle of nowhere land.
Yeah.
Long story short.
States away at that.
Oh, my goodness. And her car has had all these issues. If you know anything about Birmingham, her car broke down in the middle of 280, which is not the place to break down. So we are on this side-by-side that does not have an enclosed cab the way ours does. It is starting to rain and thunder, and there's a little bit of hail. Our child is hysterically on the phone saying, I don't know what to... It was the most, to go from vacation relaxation to crisis.
Let's go back to the no grumbling. I love being stuck in a side-by-side when it's thunder and raining.
When there's a beautiful mountain in front of me.
I love it so much.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
But it was just a very interesting
yeah.
situation, and it all worked out fine. Yeah. But anyway.
It's just something all the time.
It's always an adventure. But it was great. It was lovely. If you're ever interested in going that way and need some advice on where to stay and what to do and how to do, we love it there. We've been a couple of times now and just really love it. It's
I love
great.
it. I love that you love it.
Okay, I told you about my, I'm supposed to ask Fran before I make impulse purchases off Instagram ads.
Oh, but today you didn't.
Well, I haven't twice now. This is the confession of all my sins from lately. So I told you about the Halfday bag. You have told me for over a year now that I need to make sure I'm using vitamin C and retinol on my skin. I'm terrible about not caring, going to sleep, and then saying, oh, maybe I should do it tonight. I found this product that has all the things in it. And I thought, you know what? Then I can just do one-stop shop. Yeah. But it's kind of like Perbel, where at first I thought, what even is this? Will my whole entire face peel off and live with all this regret? I will report back. So far, I like it. It's called LifeCell.
Okay. What is it called?
LifeCell. CELL. Life. LIFE.
Okay.
LifeCell. It has retinol, vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, all these things in one. So far, I like it.
Okay.
Why is it so hard to take care of ourselves? Why does it feel like such a chore for me to take off my makeup and put skincare on my face? I don't know.
But listen.
Do you love that? Is that easy and fun for you? Why do I hate it so much?
I don't know. I think that's interesting. I have literally got a sticky note that somebody gave to me, like, okay, twice a week you do this. Every day you put the vitamin C on.
And you probably do it all exactly how you should.
Oh, I do.
I am horrible.
Because I will pull out my little, because I can't memorize it, because it's like on Sunday I do this. On Thursday it's something different. On Monday it's something different. So anyway.
You have a whole protocol.
I pull up my little cheat sheet every day and I'm like, but the morning is easy. It's the nighttime that I don't put the retinol on every night.
Well, I do well some nights if there's a makeup wipe involved by my nightstand.
Now, a dermatologist would tell you never to do that.
I'm horrible. I'm horrible.
That'd be fun. We need to bring a dermatologist on so we can all be horrified.
Oh, my goodness gracious. I'm just curious. I can't be the only one that struggles with these routines.
I think you're probably one extreme or the other.
Maybe so. Y'all tell us what's going on out there.
Just like as I get, like, I don't get out in the sun anymore. Like, I think just
when you have things cut off your face that might be cancer, that's a wake up call.
You just get like, oh, this is not worth it. So
between wrinkles and skin cancer.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. We need to talk about something happy.
What was the name of that bag? Because I keep wanting to say happy bag.
Halfday.
Why do I want to call it a happy bag?
Day. Because we need to be happy. Because I talked about some weird things. It's called Halfday travel bag.
I wonder why it's called Halfday. Because you get all that stuff put in there. You're not putting a half day's worth of clothing in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm calling it the happy bag.
I'm going to send them a message. Be like, why'd you call it this?
Dear listeners, we have two very important questions. How do you say BEIS, that luggage brand? And then we think it should be happy bag, not half day.
We'll just call it that.
Okay.
We can do that. I did go to something really fun recently, Kane's Gift. We had a dinner. And if you are listening and you know anybody adopting, if you are adopting a child, or just, there's a gospel mandate for us to take care of widows and orphans. So if you're not in a position to take a child into your home, but want to come alongside a family that is, Kane's Gift is a local nonprofit. It is absolutely fabulous.
So
Greg?
Local. This is just for people listening that are in West Tennessee.
Well, but we give grants all over the United States.
Okay.
So
good to know, everybody.
If you're a Christian family with an approved home study, we've given away over $200,000 in 4 years. And the average grant's around $5,000. It is free money to help adoptions happen.
I love that.
It is such a sweet thing to be part of. And Greg and Jacqueline Scott had a son named Kane that they adopted. And tragically, he died when he was little. And they've done this in his memory. And it's just precious.
I love that. That is so good.
I've gotten to do, and this is what I was going to tell you about that. At the dinner, there was the cutest, chunkiest, most precious baby. Just imagine, just bald head, chubby cheeks, beautiful eyes.
And chunky. I love a chunky baby.
Chunky, perfect chunky. So he is sitting with his mama, who is about to adopt him, at a table next to me. Totally unplanned that they're next to me. They are also my adoption clients. I had told them when they first came in about this program. So they had received a grant last year. They have gone through the foster care process. They have this child in their arms. The day after the dinner, I got to take them to the courthouse and finalize this adoption. And all through this dinner, where we are celebrating the goodness of God in creating these families out of the brokenness into these new homes, thinking about how we're adopted as God's kids into the kingdom as believers, I get to stare at this child. And when I tell y'all, I'm not exaggerating, this baby locked eyes with me and grinned at me through most of this dinner. When I tell you I cried off any kind of makeup I'd had on my face, I just wept and worshiped. And Nicole C. Mullen was there and led worship. And it was just the most beautiful. There are a lot of hard days in lawyer world, but to get to sit in that moment and celebrate adoption. Yeah. And I've gotten to do several lately where it's just so sweet.
I love it.
So anyway, also if you have adoption questions,
absolutely
reach out. We love to talk about it. Okay. I want to know about the tree. We talked about last year, the tree that we planted with the volleyball team.
Yeah.
I've not seen our tree.
Well, I ran into, you remember Dr. Bolliard?
Yes.
There was Dr. Bolliard and Dr. Skibout that helped us plant. You were around Skibout more, but Dr. Bolliard, I ran into him recently on campus, and he's always so kind, and he wants to, talk about the tree. And I said, well, I was feeling prideful, and I said, I want you to know that twice a week I go down to the tree. See, this is what we do, y'all. We're just trying to talk. We're just trying to drink some water.
I was trying to drink water.
Y'all, yesterday I was in the car with somebody. We had run over to Tropical Smoothie. Here she goes. We're not done yet, y'all. Welcome to the Mema and Memas.
Francis and Doris. Here we go.
We go over to Tropical Smoothie to get lunch because they were running a thing on, like, if you buy this, you get a free smoothie. And you're like, okay, let's all go do that. And so on the way back, literally, just like you, just then, I just take one sip of my smoothie and all of a sudden I'm choked and like I have tears streaming down my face. as I'm telling the girl that's driving the car that I'm fine, I could hardly squeak out any words. And I was like, I don't even understand how this happens.
What if she had pulled over and started doing the Heimlich on you?
It was quite evident I was fine. But at the same time, I had tears streaming down my face because I felt like I'm going to die. But it's so interesting how you're like, I just swallowed. Like I do this all day long. I talk and I breathe air and swallow my own saliva.
It works until it doesn't. Anyway, Dr. Bolyard.
Back to Dr. Bolyard and our tree. I ran into him and I have been prideful all summer. And I said to him, he was asking about the tree, and I said, I just need you to know that I walk down twice a week with a pitcher that has about, I don't know, probably 4 to 6 inches of water in it. And I water it twice a week.
Oh.
Because I'm like, I will not let this tree die on my watch.
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch.
Is she growing?
Yeah, you can see new leaves. And so I asked him, I said, what would happen if I didn't? And you think about, like, we had a very dry August and it just didn't rain. And y'all know, if you're in the South, it's 99 million degrees and humidity, not much rain. And so I've never wondered more about how do all these trees stay green, when there's no rain. Until now, I'm invested. Call me a horticulturist or botanist or whatever. And so he said, he said it so kindly and gently, like a elementary science teacher would, talk to their students. And he said, well, her little root system, she would find water that's stored in the earth. And I'm just sitting there going, oh, well, maybe I didn't have to water. And he goes, but a new tree, they're still getting established. But some trees do fine and some do not. And he said, I have no idea how your tree would have done. So it didn't hurt a single thing that you have watered it all summer long. So I was
I'm saying that she's thriving because Fran took the time to water her.
Listen, and I can't tell you how many times that Amy Eads, my coworker, I'd be like, well, Amy, I'm going down there to water this tree. So I was grumbling and complaining because it was so hot, but I didn't want her to die.
You're such a good tree mom.
So anyway, listen, it ain't over yet, and then I'm going to worry about her when, the leaves start changing color.
The frost.
Yeah.
She might need a blanket.
I know, but I can't. We all know that's.
Take your blow dryer. And warm
but
her
it's
up.
just funny how you care about something that you've never, ever cared about before. But
it is.
Anyway,
so
sweet little volleyball tree. She's just doing great.
I love that. And we're back with the volleyball team.
Yep.
Another season.
Like it or not.
Here we come.
Here we come, girls.
They love us. We're fun, friends.
I hope so. And there's new, that's the beauty of athletes is that it's a new team, because you've got new recruits. And
well, speaking of new seasons, we talk a lot on here about how important it is for women wanting to grow in their relationship with the Lord or in community or any kind of, there's a whole lot of wonderful things that come out of this. But we believe so strongly in small group Bible study through the local church. I say that I believe that so strongly. You are good about signing up for those things. Tend to be on the grumbly, complaining side. Not that I don't love it and believe in it, but usually by Wednesday, I just want to go home and sit in the dark. And, I'm sure I'm not alone in that. But you encouraged me to sign up, and I'm so glad that we did. And I want to talk just for a minute about what we're doing on Wednesday nights, because before we signed up for this study, my child had given me this book. She read it and loved it. I had not made it on my own past the first chapter, so clearly I need some accountability. Yeah. I'm glad we're doing this. But talk a little bit about what we're doing and why it matters.
Well, I have heard about this book 1,000 times, like just working on a college campus, whether it's staff or other students. They're always telling me, and I love that they do this. I love that I have young people that like to read and want to grow in their own wisdom and knowledge of the Lord. So it's a book. So we're reading through this book together. But I've heard people talk on and on and on about Practicing the Way by John Mark Comer. And and it's been in my shopping cart forever, but I'm one of those people that I have to read a book at a time. I can't read multiple books at once. And so I've just always had something in front of me that I've been reading. And when this opportunity came up through our church and I saw it, I was like, okay, this isn't homework. It's just reading X number of pages. We can do this. And so,
it's led by somebody we love dearly.
Kelly Elliott. Love and respect her so much. And she's helping some with the volleyball team this year too. So that's fun. But underneath the title of the book, and this is just what's so beautiful. This isn't anything, I don't want to say hard, because I think that's not true. I think sometimes our simplest foundational things can be hard.
But it's simple.
But just depending on the week or the season that you're in, just reading the pages could be hard. And even practicing the way could be hard. And I get that. But underneath the title, it says, be with Jesus, become like him, do as he did. And I think, well, that's just all of us in an absolute nutshell right there. That's what we're all trying to do. And Kelly read to us the very first night that we met. She read to us a quote at the beginning. It's a Jewish blessing, actually. It's a first century Jewish blessing. And it says, may you be covered in the dust of your rabbi. And I was like, man, that's so beautiful. And we're not finished with it, clearly, but the chapters are broken down into I'm trying to find it, y'all. In sections, not the chapters, there's sections of it. So it's apprentice to Jesus, be with Jesus, become like him, do as he did, a rule of life, take up your cross. And I'm like, this is going to be fantastic. So if you've read it, we'd love to know what you thought about it. But it's not a big book, and it's on Audible and all the things. So we're just gathering together for 8 weeks to work our way through practicing the way.
I feel like it will come up naturally in conversations on the podcast. Yeah. And just, it's one of those that we'll go back to over and over again, and will make a great Christmas gift. Yeah. It's not too early to have that on your radar for people. Yeah. One of the things we talk about with the volleyball team, and with this practicing the way, is how are we growing? And that tree has been such a sweet, tangible symbol of this is how we're growing together. But what Kelly asked us the first night was, who has influenced you? And you and I, well, first of all, you shared something that I would love for you to talk about on here, about who has influenced you. But also we talked about another person that we absolutely adore, and that is Debbie Curry. Talk for just a minute about why people like Debbie Curry. We love having people that are ahead of us, that are wise to learn from. We all need people ahead of us, people beside us, people behind us to learn from and come alongside. But let's just talk for a minute on here about the conversation we had about some of the things we've learned from Debbie. Yeah.
I met Debbie years ago, probably over 20 years ago, when we first moved to Jackson. She had a Bible study just open to anybody. It was in the back of Bubba's Bagels. And it was just
a throwback.
I know that's a throwback to all you Jackson people, but that's how I met her. And our paths, I'm very thankful that our lives have stayed somewhat connected over the years. And so currently now we're both at the same church. We were coming out of Bible study recently, and she is leading. She's teaching on Wednesday nights. And we just stood in the parking lot and just talked for a long time. And anytime I talk with Debbie, I'm reminded of just a basic but beautiful reminder of how to love and lead well. Debbie has 2 daughters, and her daughter, Kristen, is married to Jeremy Hunt, who is our missions pastor. So I've gotten to know Jeremy over the last couple of mission trips to the DR. That previous episode where I spent a lot of time talking about that, Debbie is Jeremy's mother-in-law. But anytime I stand in Debbie's presence, she's just so humble, because this woman has taught no telling how many lessons. Like, she would have this weekly Bible study, weekly. and people would come. No telling how many Sunday school lessons. She's been involved with women's basketball here at Union on and off for years. No telling how many times she has opened up her mouth with some sort of lesson. And so in my eyes, I think she's just a pro.
Legendary.
Yeah, she's just a pro. She knows what she's doing. She can probably just do all of this in her sleep. It just comes so, it's just second nature to her. Anyway, we're talking about a particular group that she had spent some time with last year. And she was like, Fran, it was just terrible. It wasn't any good. It just wasn't good. And she said, and I recognized it wasn't good. And I told the person, that she was responsible to, she was being held accountable by this certain person. And, they had conversations about it. And I just, in my mind, I never said to her out loud, oh, Debbie, that's not true. But I also am, we all know, not everybody teaches a lesson that is just, the best lesson you've ever taught. There are seasons where you just may not be your best, or one particular standalone message that's not your best.
There's so much relief in that.
Yes.
Because I think about people like Debbie and I think, well, she's the gold standard and here we are struggle busing.
Yes. Yeah.
But have we ever fully arrived? No.
And you're never going to. But the humility that she just so sweetly, humbly, kindly just stands there and talks to me, and we laugh about, things that we've said or done or whatever. And I just think, thank you. Thank you for helping us all feel like we're in the journey together.
What a leadership lesson.
Yeah.
By example.
Yeah, that you haven't arrived and you're not sitting there going, well, I've got it all figured out. And the rest of y'all need to catch up.
But to show up in obedience. And then to keep going when you have those moments of, well, that landed what, because too, when it just really lands well and people respond, that's the best feeling in the world.
Right.
But then that's not all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. She said that, when you're talking to a group, regardless of their age, and they're just, staring at you with no expression whatsoever. And she said that, she just felt like that was just constant, but she kept showing up. But you know what? The Lord is bigger than any of us. But I just I am so grateful for humble leaders that just
so much.
Very, very grateful for her.
And we are planting seeds.
Yeah.
It's that verse that we quote often, it doesn't matter who plants the seeds or who waters the seeds. God's making those seeds grow. And there are, Jeremiah never made a convert and continue. He was the weeping prophet. Maybe that's why I would cry too if I never, but you just don't know what's truly happening. Just keep going in that. But yet anytime there's a leader, we talk about Dr. Dub all the time, but a leader that we hold in such high regard, that's also incredibly humble.
Yeah.
There's just nothing like it.
I love a leader that has a shepherd's heart, that wants to shepherd and care for and love the people, and not be about, look at me and what I know and how smart I am or how well I've crafted this message, which they tend to do that anyway, but they just lead with a shepherd's heart. So that's beautiful.
That's the leader that makes us want to keep going.
Absolutely.
Truly. Well, Fran, what else?
I don't know. That's all, everybody.
That's a lot. That was good.
Y'all figure out how to pronounce BEIS. There's your homework assignments. And I'll figure it out too.
And I will report back on whether my face falls off from using LifeCell, and also how to roll up the Halfday bag, because I feel like if I can figure out how to put it together, I will actually use it.
I see these videos of here's 5 days worth of clothes to fit in your backpack. And, they lay them all out on top of one another and they fold and they fold and they fold and they fold. And then you have this nice, neat, tiny square that just going to slide in your backpack. And I'm like, y'all, I don't know what you're doing in that video, but I promise you, I cannot do that.
I'm the one throwing things in at 10 p.m. and then sitting on the suitcase and praying it'll all fit.
I don't have those skills. So anyway, but the happy bag or the half bag, whatever it's called.
The half happy bag.
The half happy bag. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful Labor Day week, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Thanks so much for listening, you guys. Angela and I both pray that Proverbs 16:24 is a verse that you will carry with you throughout the week. And it says, kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy for the body. We pray that anything you have to say to others and even yourself will be just that, kind words that are sweet to the soul and healthy for the body. All right, we appreciate you so much. Have a great week.